This conference will now be recorded.
Steve, does it work?
Good evening, everybody.
Yep, go ahead.
Evening, everybody. This is Ken Poisson, 6th District Councilman and Chairman of the Public Works Committee. I'm going to call the February 6th meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. The second item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Take a motion to approve the January 3rd minutes.
So moved by Bill O'Brien.
All right, second by Gene. I saw your hand there. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. And 3 is the report of the Public Works Director. Renee has emailed that out to us ahead of time, as always, to help expedite the meeting. Does anybody have any questions for Renee? Okay, thank you very much, Renee.
Hey, Ken, I asked Renee if she could look into the batting cage at DeLuca. Were you able to find anything, Renee?
I need to talk to Chad, and I did not get to speak to him today. So I will get back to you.
Okay.
I know what you're looking for.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I don't have a
All right.
question, but I have a comment for Renee. I wanted to thank you because we brought it up at the last month's meeting, but I got a message from the gym teacher at Worcester thanking us for addressing whatever issue was in the locker room. So I guess it was done before we even mentioned it. So thank you.
It was. You're welcome. I checked.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Renee's magic. It just happened.
I try to have everything done before people ask. Doesn't always work, but I try.
Hey,
All
Renee,
right.
it's Caitlin.
Yes, Caitlin.
The tennis court at Longbrook that's usually locked, I guess it's unlocked again because people are going in there with their dogs and just letting them run around. So if someone could just go out and make sure it's locked.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Renee. Next up is the report of the town engineer. John also emailed that out to us ahead of time to help expedite the meeting with all of his attachments. John, you have any action items first?
The first is we had last month brought up the Housatonic River Greenway resiliency berm at Hunter Haven's property, which is between the Water Pollution Control Facility and the Army Engine Plant. So I sent that out again, and we're ready to wrap up our conceptual layout of that, and just want to make sure there's no questions or comments before we do that. I have given it to the Army Engine Plant consultant, who will be using it to try to tie into work that they'll be doing on their property when the time comes.
I have a question about that. So when I was looking at the maps that you had sent, and it was kind of unclear how exactly this is all going to connect. And then it mentions going on to Broad Street. So where exactly is that going to be connecting towards Paradise Green, let's say? Like, how does that work? Is it going to go into the like Baldwin Center area on Broad, or I'm confused as to how that pathway goes?
So, yeah, that's a different question. That is it's in part item B. So
Yeah, John and Jean, let's hold that until we get to that item, and let's just take care of A first, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, so A being limited to the resiliency berm that'll be placed on that town-owned property between the treatment plant and the Army Engine Plant.
Okay, so do we need to approve that, John, or are you just asking us if we have any further questions?
Well, if it'd be good to approve it, and then we know we have direction to move forward. And the next step would be to conclude the conceptual design report, and then we'll be seeking funding for this work at the appropriate time.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the resiliency Hunter Havens Gate Greenway berm?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion or questions for John on this berm? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The chair votes aye, the motion carries unanimously. All right, John, now on to item B.
So item B is extending the walkway that is on Hunter Havens property along Beacon Point Road. And our current project for Beacon Point Road is the phase 2 of the Greenway project. And that project is right now just proposing to put in on-road painting to provide continuous bike path. And that project will go from Beacon Point Road to Birdseye Street to Elm Street to Broad Street, and then jump across Main Street to West Broad, and it ends at the Perry House. And that project is being dovetailed with the Complete Streets project, which will go from Main Street, from Broad Street up to Barnum Avenue. So when we're done with those two projects, we'll have a continuous bike route from the Greenway at the end of Beacon Point Road to Barnum Avenue. And that is primarily a bike lane or bike, what they call share-o, which is a shared marked path that you're sharing, the bicycle is sharing the road with the automobile. So the share-o, in part, some of it will have share-o, and then other parts will be an actual formal bike lane, where the lane will be dedicated to bicycle use only. But like Beacon Point Road, there's not much traffic. It's just a share-o. They're just going to share the road with the cars, but there is no sidewalk. So we're proposing here that we would extend the sidewalk down to the boat ramp, or at least to Birdseye Street for now. And then we do that in coordination with the treatment plant project, where we're going to put the perimeter wall up on the south side of Beacon Point Road, or the east side of Beacon Point Road. So, you know, we would have the treatment plant's going to build a wall, and then we'll come and build a sidewalk up against the wall. And so we want to just start designing that now, so we're ready when the treatment plant wall goes up also.
All right, so John, this $19,000 is just for design work?
Yeah, survey and design. And then I'll be coordinating that with the wall project.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve that and send it to the council with a favorable recommendation? Gotcha.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion or questions for John?
Me, if you don't mind. So then,
Yeah.
if I'm understanding correctly, it's considered the Greenway project, somewhat up to Broad, and then it's going to be Complete Streets from there north.
Yes.
Okay, so they're two different, like, kind of programs, if you will.
Well, they're similar, but not exactly the same.
Got it. Thank you.
And Mr. Casey, you said, just for clarification, it's the existing roadway of where those lines are going to be painted to delineate if it's a bike path, a bike lane, I guess.
Yeah, for the most part, the Greenway project is a shared route. But when we get to Broad Street, it gets a little more congested. There's going to be part of the road will have a dedicated bike lane, and then there'll be a dedicated crossing across Main Street. And then you'll keep going. If you want to go down to the Perry House and the Baldwin Center, you go down a shared off-road path. The sidewalk that's there will be widened to accommodate bicycles and pedestrians on West Broad, adjacent to the funeral home and the Baldwin Center. And it would just end at Perry House. So you have a spot to stop. You could park your bike and on a bike rack, and you can walk around that area, go to the Perry House, go to the library, go to the Baldwin Center.
Are
Thank
there
you.
bike
And the
racks
map
there
that
already,
you,
John? Or
sorry, go ahead, Ken.
are there bike racks there already, or is this going to be added in as part of this project?
Yeah, we would add that in.
And John,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, if I read the plans properly, the complete streets bike lane on Main Street going down is going to be green, right? They agreed to
Yeah, on
paint
Main
green,
Street, it'll
so
be painted green. Yep,
visually
dedicated.
obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, that does help. Caitlin, you had something else?
I did, thank you. So with the delineation of the bike lane being now included, it's not going to further lead to any congestion with the traffic in those areas. It's working in conjunction with the existing space.
Yes. I mean,
Thank you.
there's a crossing at Main Street, so that'll be the biggest
Yeah,
coordination with the traffic.
okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously. John, is that it for action items?
Yes.
Okay, any highlights from your report that we need to get up to date on?
The Bruce Brook, we have that Community Investment Fund grant that we've been working on follow-up questions with the state. So we hope to get that soon as we could start implementing that phase one part of that project, which is the improvements to the brook at the end of Bow Avenue. So hopefully that'll come through in this coming month, and we can be able to get started on that. And then the Metro North Bridge project, we did have a meeting with Metro North where they talked about some of their preliminary ideas for the bridge replacements at all the bridge overpasses, railroad bridge overpasses. Will have an upgrade, and I just laid out basically what they're talking about at each location. If there's any questions.
Hey, John, the East Main Street, I see they hope to increase the clearance to 13.9. You know what the current clearance is?
11 something,
Yeah, that's probably about right, 11.
11 something.
Yeah, it's 11.
So that's a pretty good improvement then.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest improvement that you'll see. And they're going to have to be able to get that in. They're going to have to lower the road a little bit to do that. So that they're going to evaluate the drainage impacts with that as well.
It's kind of like what happened in Milford a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Milford had some railroad bridges replaced, I assume they're sufficient, but the reason they're doing these are for the high-speed rail. The new high-speed rail will require a different bridge design for the handle the train loads.
And Mr. Casey, in the description of the Knowlton, California and Linden Avenue, with that third lane, I'm assuming that's a driving lane?
Yeah, they're still working on that. That's what they'd like to do, is to get another lane in there, probably in the southbound direction, so they can get to reduce the squeeze point there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, John. Renee, if I could jump back to you for 1 second. I had a question and I totally forgot. Can you just give us a quick update on the lights at DeLuca and Short Beach for once the warm winter is going against us, I hear?
The lights are being worked on as we speak. The equipment's out there and they are actively working on it. So they'll definitely be done by the springtime, but they've got a good jump with the warmer weather. They got started much sooner than they thought. So yes, the equipment is out there and they've already started.
Okay, and it's not, the ground isn't too wet or anything for the equipment? It's not causing any problems?
Nope.
Obviously, they wouldn't be doing it, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's good news. When do they think they're gonna finish approximately?
I don't know, because they didn't give us a hard stop date, because they're kind of taking it day by day, depending, weather-wise. But I don't think it's going to be longer. I mean, if we keep with this type of weather, I imagine they'll be done in a few weeks.
With both of them?
The Short Beach first, and then they'll be over at DeLuca.
Right, okay. Oh, that's good. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
I have one
All
more
right.
thing. One more thank you, if you don't mind, Renee.
Yes, Jean.
Thank you very much for dealing with the parking lot at Roosevelt Forest.
Okay.
All right, item 6, new business. John, can you explain this, or Renee, or whoever has this, please? I guess we already did this, didn't we? This is the 2 things we just did, Ken.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Oh, my goodness.
Covered.
Sorry, it's been a long day. Stuff ends up in 2 spots. My fault, my fault. Does anybody else have any new business?
Renee,
Okay.
get before we can have.
Our next regular meeting is Monday, March 6th. I skipped over that. First Monday, as always. Did you have something?
No, I just said Renee's so good. She gets to things before we can even bring them up as new business.
Yeah, it's good. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, we are adjourned at 5:18. Thank you very much, as always, everybody, for your hard work.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thanks all.